Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Israel's intensified its ground assault on the northern Gaza Strip, where an estimated 400,000 people remain trapped amidst a dire humanitarian situation. Over the past 24 hours, Israeli attacks have killed at least 55 Palestinians, including 10 people killed by an Israeli tank shell as they lined up for food at a distribution center in Jabalia. Dozens more were wounded in the assault, children among them. On Monday, the World Health Organization began its second round of an emergency polio vaccination campaign after Israel's assault decimated Gaza's water and sanitation infrastructure, prompting a polio outbreak. Parents who brought their children to receive a booster dose said they have much more to fear than the spread of disease.
Today I came to vaccinate my children against polio. We administered the first dose, and now we've administered the second dose, as we are scared of diseases that are widely spread here in Gaza. However, with disease and this fear, we fear the occupation more, because even though we are protecting them and vaccinating them, the occupation is still bombing them.
One of the victims who burned to death after Israel bombed Al-Aqsa Hospital early Monday has been identified as 19-year-old Shaban al-Dalu. He was an engineering student at Gaza's Al-Azhar University who just started his studies in September of last year. He'd built the tent shelter his family was living in when Israel bombed them. At least 4 others were also killed in the fire. In the occupied West Bank, Israeli forces killed 2 Palestinians, including a child, and injured 4 others during an hours-long assault Monday on the city of Jenin and its refugee camp. 23-year-old Mahmoud Mamoun Abu al-Rab died of gunshot wounds, as did 17-year-old Rayan Ibrahim al-Sayed. Their killings bring the death toll from Israeli assaults on the West Bank over the past year to 755, including 165 children. In Lebanon, at least 21 people were killed Monday when Israel bombed a 4-story apartment building in the northern village of Eitu. The UN Human Rights Commission reports 12 women and 2 children were among the victims. On Monday, a top UNICEF official warned of a lost generation of children in Lebanon, with some 400,000 youths among the estimated 1.2 million displaced by Israel's bombs. This is Jalal Ferhat, a 40-year-old father of 5 whose family crossed Lebanon's border into Syria Monday seeking refuge.
There are strikes in our neighborhood and destruction, and they struck near my house. I have children. You can't just stay where you are. We tried going to another place. We moved from Baalbek, where they struck near my house. We had to leave again. I have children. You can't stay. We are going to Syria because it could be safer than where we are.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu doubled down Monday on his warnings to the UN interim force in Lebanon, known as UNIFIL, telling UN peacekeepers to, quote, heed Israel's request and to temporarily get out of harm's way, unquote.
The charge that Israel deliberately attacked UNIFIL personnel is completely false. It's exactly the opposite. Israel repeatedly asked UNIFIL to get out of harm's way.
Netanyahu's remarks came after Israeli troops fired on a UNIFIL watchtower and destroyed part of a UNIFIL base near the Israeli border. At least 5 UNIFIL peacekeepers have been injured by Israel's assaults. Despite the repeated attacks, UNIFIL's chief has said peacekeepers will remain in their positions. On Monday, Britain, France, Germany, and Italy issued a joint statement calling Israel's attacks on UN peacekeepers a violation of international law. And the EU's foreign policy chief, Josep Borrell, condemned Israel's attacks on UNIFIL as unacceptable.
The 27 members agreed on asking Israel to stop attacking UNIFIL. Many European members are participating in this mission. Their work is very important. It's completely unacceptable attacking United Nations troops.
The Guardian is reporting USAID officials have been holding regular meetings with Israeli counterparts at Israel's notorious Sde Teman prison since late July, after the Israeli agency overseeing aid relocated to the military base. Sde Teman has been labeled a torture camp, where Palestinians abducted by Israeli soldiers in Gaza have described harrowing physical, sexual, and psychological abuse. The Guardian says it's not clear if the USAID workers have observed the part of the base that is used as a torture camp, but affected officials told the newspaper, quote, "I can't sleep at night knowing that it's going on," unquote, and that Israel's relocation of its aid coordination group to the prison, quote, "seems like trolling," unquote. You can see our past coverage of Sde Teman and the reports on it at democracynow.org. Here in New York City, hundreds of Jewish activists and their allies rallied outside the New York Stock Exchange Monday, demanding an Israeli arms embargo and an end to war profiteering by companies like Raytheon and Lockheed Martin. Police forcibly removed peaceful protesters as they blocked the entrance to the stock exchange, arresting over 200 people in one of the largest mass arrests outside the stock exchange in history. After headlines, we'll speak with Elena Stein, Director of Organizing and Strategy for Jewish Voice for Peace. She was detained at Monday's action. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., activists with Code Pink disrupted an annual conference at the Association of the U.S. Army.
The blood of hundreds of thousands of people is under your hand. Your pocket steeped in the blood of Palestinians, of people in the global south, from the Philippines to the Congo to Haiti. We have 800 military bases begging the planet and decimating people.
Everyone, if you could just
Better than you talk about. We have no future. You're making a killing off of killing.
Canada has expelled 6 Indian diplomats amidst mounting tensions over the murder last year of a Sikh separatist leader in British Columbia. India responded by announcing it's also expelling 6 Canadian diplomats this week. New Delhi's rejected Canadian accusations that Indian government agents were involved in the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar and the targeting of other Indian dissidents in Canada. This is Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Canada is a country rooted in the rule of law, and the protection of our citizens is paramount. That's why, when our law enforcement and intelligence officials began pursuing credible allegations that agents of the Government of India were directly involved in the killing of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar, on Canadian soil, we responded.
And in North Carolina, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Department has arrested a man who allegedly used an assault rifle to threaten workers helping with relief efforts from Hurricane Helene. Investigators charge 44-year-old William Jacob Parsons with the crime of going armed to the terror of the public, a misdemeanor. The incident and other cases of threats and harassment against federal workers prompted FEMA to briefly suspend some of its North Carolina relief operations. FEMA pulled back its workers from going door to door in areas hard hit by hurricane damage. This comes after Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump and his running mate J.D. Vance spent weeks spreading lies and conspiracy theories about FEMA, falsely claiming the agency sent aid meant for hurricane victims to migrants while withholding aid to people in Republican areas. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman in New York, joined by Democracy Now!'s Juan Gonzalez in Chicago. Hi, Juan, and happy birthday.
Hi, Amy. Thank you, and welcome to all of our listeners and viewers across the country and around the world.